Stand by SOT1.
Standing.
10 seconds. Ready, rollin'. Ready, SOT1.
Ready.
In 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll in.
From legendary Uncle Studios in beautiful Southern California, welcome to another edition of Work Comp Matters, the central location for you employees, you employers, and of course, we haven't forgotten about you damn independent contractors. And now, here's this week's edition of Work Comp Matters. And it's July 31st, 12 noon. Welcome to another edition of Work Comp Matters. We are, of course, brought to you by the workcompcentral.com. If you want the number one location for workers' compensation in both California and around the United States, check out the workcompcentral.com. They've got a free 7-day offer. And if you want to pick up their services, I have them. You should too. Damn it. It's only $1 a day. Work Comp Matters is also brought to you by A1 Law, number one computer management system. 818-357-4120 for your no strings attached money back guarantee. Also only $1 a day. A1 Law. Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Steve Appell. As usual, I'm joined by the madman across the water, Mr. John Scalia, as well as the chief of staff, the doctor, but he's not a medical doctor, Mr. Mike Zyma. Well, folks, you may remember a couple of weeks ago, we had a guest on the show, Rena Shalhoub, and she is the owner proprietor of Crave Cafe in Studio City. She came on the show because for 2 months she had a banner, as well as the other neighboring businesses next to her had a banner that essentially said they're open for business during the coronavirus pandemic. Well, after about 2 months, some city representative came by and fined them all for putting up banners that were not permitted. Well, within 48 hours, the banners were taken down. The city was contacted, and the city refused to withdraw the fines. I believe $356. We went ahead and had Rena on at that time. In addition, Lou Shapiro was advertising this as well. And apparently within 24 to 48 hours after that podcast, Mayor Garcetti came on during his conference and apparently indicated, at least verbally, that those fines were not going to be enforced, or at least temporarily not enforced. And I'm so fortunate because Rena agreed to come on the show again and give us the updated status. So I'd like to give a warm, again, welcome to Ms. Rena Shalhoub. Rena, can you hear me okay?
Yes, Steve. Hi. Hello. Thanks for having me on again.
Hello. So thank you very much again for coming on the show and fill us in. What's been happening since the last time you came on the show?
Wow. So that same day, we experienced such an outpouring of support. The restaurant was getting calls left and right. I was getting Facebook messages to my private Facebook, which isn't connected to my business Facebook, so I'm not sure how people found me.
I want to let you know, I did not PR your private Facebook, but of course I PR'd your business Facebook.
Yes, exactly. Yes, absolutely. I'm sure people just dug in order to find someone that they could speak to about the situation, but it was pure support. Everyone was asking where they could donate to and things like that. I was just glad to get any type of support. I told them, we don't have a GoFundMe because we would much rather you come in and try our food and enjoy our services.
I was going to say nothing against GoFundMe, but support the restaurant by buying food. We're not asking for donations, but go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people understood that. And it was just within that day and within the next few days, we just saw a lot more people coming in, ordering to go, verbalizing their support with us. But amazingly, we got a call the next day, and then we got multiple calls regarding the we got a call from the city the next day indicating that they would be waiving the fines and they would be seeing about us putting these banners back up. And then we saw Garcetti's statement, and it seemed that he decided to loosen all of these rules by the time the pandemic was over, just to support surrounding restaurants, all these local businesses that needed to indicate that they were open during the pandemic and that they were essential. So,
so if I may, sorry for interrupting. So your understanding is that Mayor Garcetti has suspended the fines for putting up banners indicating you're open, at least temporarily, until the pandemic is over. Is that correct?
That's what the gist seemed like to us, but his phrasing was that it was very vague, very, of course, very politician-y. But he said that businesses are struggling to stay open. We need to do everything we can to help. They're struggling to pay their employees and serve their community. And he said, and I quote, "I want them to know that the city is there to help." And throughout the briefing, he indicated that, the fines would be waived for now. I'm not sure it was him. I might have been the city itself, because I didn't get to hear that part. But according to the city, we called and we tried to make sure that we didn't have to pay, just because we don't want to pay a fine above that fine. It's not a very fun thing to be late on.
Right, because that fine was essentially going to be tripled. And as you said on the last show, you have one location. You are not a big conglomerate. You have one location. You said it's owned by you and your mom. Before the pandemic, you had 50 employees. Now you're down to 8 employees. Your gross revenue is down 70%. You've done everything within your power to practice appropriate social distancing and keep your business open for your family as well as the community. And then you put up this banner, you get hit with the fine. And so apparently now, because of Lou Shapiro's help, I'm going to say I helped at least 1%, which is all I want. That's what this show is all about. And you got an outpouring of support from the community. Please continue.
Yes. And once again, I do want to thank Lou Shapiro for putting out some more information and making it more available for people that, aren't in the industry. And I want to thank you, of course, for taking interest in this, because a lot of people did listen to this podcast, and it did help in educating a lot of people about the situation.
Well, that's great. Well, if anybody wants to start a GoFundMe for Steve Appell and Work Comp Matters, although I don't need it, that would be fine. No, in all seriousness, and I was telling Mike and John after the show that's what this show is really all about, is identifying legitimate problems within our local community and seeing what we can do to help. And in all sincerity and humility, I'm just glad that I was able to help in the way I did. And I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Oh, well, and I wanted to thank you, of course. This is it's just not something we expected as a business, especially in this time, all of us struggling like this. But it was so heartwarming to see how not just our local community, but, people that moved from California kind of are knew the area, had visited the restaurant, and how they came together just to support us so verbally and so adamantly. I had people DMing me saying, I'm definitely coming in this weekend. I live all the way in Torrance, but I want to come support. And it was just, honestly, it made me cry a little bit. My mom kind of ragged on me, but I was like, no, this is so nice. It's so nice of them.
It's okay to have a little private cry once in a while. Just don't do it while you're making the food. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no, of course. Gotta keep it clean, safe, healthy, no bodily fluids around the
There you go. There you go. and that's all I'm going to say about that one. Rena Shalhoub from the Crave Cafe in Studio City. Please feel free, if you want, once again, give the address, give the phone number, give the emails, take a minute. And I'm sure now, because you hesitated like a couple of weeks ago, hopefully you're not as nervous as you were a couple of weeks ago, but go ahead and take a minute and give the contact information, please.
Oh, I appreciate this, Steve. But I own Crave Cafe in Studio City with my mom. It's a family-owned and run business. We are located in Studio City at 11992 Ventura Boulevard, right next to the Trader Joe's and the Chop Stop. And our number is 818-763-9000. You can place orders over the phone. You can call us just to tell us we're doing a good job. We can also tell you you're doing a good job. That's if you want. And our email is cravestudiocity@gmail.com. We also do catering. We can help you out with your private parties and make sure that everyone is fed safely. I'm here to support the community just as much as they are to support me, and I'm happy to do it.
That is fantastic. Thank you very much for coming on again to Work Comp Matters, and I'm glad we were able to help in our own little way. Take care. And by the way, I was driving into the office today because I live in Woodland Hills. I work in Van Nuys. 99 degrees at like 12:30 in the morning. So I don't know if you have seating outside, but it's going to be a hot one today.
We do, but honestly, right now it's not much in use, and we completely understand. Of course, we're ready for you guys with cold drinks, smoothies, all the good stuff if you guys want to cool off.
I was going to say, take a lesson from Palm Springs restaurants and have those sprinklers, not sprinklers, but those spritzers up top that spray a little water. You know what I mean?
The misters, yeah.
The misters, awesome. Yeah. You got to get some misters out there.
Know what? We'll take note.
There you go. Thanks for coming on. Have a wonderful, safe weekend. My best to you, your family, and of course, the Crave Cafe in Studio City. You take care.
You too. Thank you so much, Steve.
Pleasure's mine. Bye-bye. And there goes Renishal Hoob of the Crave Cafe in Studio City. And like I said, in all sincerity, I'm just glad that we were able to do our part. My name is Steve Appell. You're dialed into Work Comp Matters. We are brought to you by the workcompcentral.com. If you want the #1 location for workers' compensation in both California and around the United States, check out the workcompcentral.com. They've got a free 7-day offer. And if you want to pick up their services, I have them. You should too. It's only $1 a day. Work Comp Matters is also brought to you by A1 Law, #1 computer management system, 818-357-4120 for no strings attached, money back guaranteed, $1 a day. A1 Law. I want to now go to the doctor who's going to read the first news story of the day. And then, Mike, when you finish, just say, John, pick up the next news story and vice versa. Do a couple of stories. I'm going to go listen. Take care. Mike, go ahead.
Early in the pandemic, insurers expected the cost of treating COVID-19 would vastly increase medical spending. Instead, non-COVID care has plummeted and insurers have pocketed the result. Still, few industry observers are predicting broad-based premium cuts in 2021, though some health plans have proposed lowering their rates. Now, I have heard folks anecdotally that in the workers' compensation industry, because of the COVID-19 lockdown, if you will, fewer employers have, a lot of employers have fewer employees, but they're not necessarily getting rebates on their workers' compensation premiums. I think that's interesting. John?
Yeah, this story reminds me of back when I was a college student, a deep, dark secret. I used to be a civilian employee as a clerk typist for the U.S. Army back when the Presidio in San Francisco was an Army base. And I worked in a Quonset hut 50 feet from the bay. This article is San Francisco cites major surge in Reddy's Presidio buildings to free hospital beds for coronavirus patients. Citing a major surge in critical coronavirus cases, San Francisco officials said Thursday they will shift non-COVID-19 patients to a new inpatient facility in the Presidio if it becomes necessary to clear hospital beds for virus patients. The temporary medical center will be set up in a pair of warehouses behind the Palace of Fine Arts on Gorgas Avenue and will treat up to 93 patients who are not infected with the coronavirus, county officials said. The announcement comes as San Francisco is seeing a significant uptick in people hospitalized with COVID-19. The number reached 109 Thursday, up from 26 6 weeks ago. Dr. Grant Colfax, the city's public health director, said Thursday, of those currently hospitalized with the coronavirus, 1/4, about 27 patients, are in intensive care. Let me be clear, we are in a major surge of COVID-19, Colfax said. The virus is moving fast and more people are getting seriously ill. Mike, back to you.
California cities and counties are cracking down on violators of COVID-19 orders, even as the governor has advocated a less punitive approach. Contra Costa County became one of the latest jurisdictions to resort to fines this week, with supervisors on Tuesday passing an urgency ordinance that imposes penalties between $100 and $500 on individuals and up to $1,000 on businesses. John.
Okay, this is from the Sacramento Bee, assuming I can pull it up by avoiding subscribing to it. Well, I'm not having a lot of luck here. It's their website that's telling me.
You know what? That's okay. I can read a story, and John, you can prepare for the next one. 31 Costco employees in Santa Clara County have gotten coronavirus infections over the past 2 weeks, according to county officials. 13 in Sunnyvale, 8 in San Jose at the Center Road location, 6 in Gilroy. By the way, for those of you who don't know, Gilroy, garlic capital of the world, 6 in Gilroy and 4 in Mountain View. The county's public health department is working with Costco to investigate the outbreaks. The county said that preliminary results indicate that Costco is complying with social distancing and other protocols. The cases were likely caused by community transmission and most likely not internal transmission among employees. John, if you're ready.
Yeah, California falls behind in an effort to buy 10,000 COVID-19 ventilators. Governor Gavin Newsom's drive to obtain 10,000 ventilators to help California hospitals treat COVID-19 patients has fallen well behind schedule as coronavirus infections continue to surge. The State Department of General Services has received, I'm reading this accurately, 188 ventilators out of 8,000 promised by Ashley Healthcare Inc. of Bakersfield, the state's main supplier, department spokeswoman Monica Hassan said this week.
Mike.
With coronavirus deaths now surpassing 9,000 across California, health officials in Los Angeles County are investigating a deadly outbreak at a food processing plant in Commerce and issued another urgent plea for businesses and employees to report COVID-19 cases. The county is examining the deaths of 2 employees at Mission Foods Corporation in Commerce. John.
Well, USC is a world-respected institution, but since I'm a UCLA guy, I can't resist a news item that casts some aspersion on frat row at USC. This is from the LA Times. Coronavirus outbreak at USC's fraternity row leaves at least 40 people infected. USC is dealing with an outbreak of the coronavirus spread across the university's Greek row. The school has detected around 40 positive COVID-19 cases involving individuals living on 28th Street, where many fraternity groups associated with the university are based, said Dr. Sarah Van Orman, USC's chief student health officer. A significant number of the cases were associated with 4 fraternity houses, Van Orman said. To date, around 150 USC students and employees have tested positive. USC and other universities have adapted in an effort to keep students, staff, and local communities safe during the pandemic.
All right. Thank you very much for that. A mutant strain of the coronavirus that some researchers believe is more infectious is rampaging across the globe and has moved into the Bay Area. But there are conflicting views about how this tiny deviant is impacting people. The mutated virus, known as the G strain, appears in some studies to be more contagious, up to 6 times more transmissible than the original strain of the coronavirus that emerged last year from Wuhan, China, and is now believed to make up 70% of the infections worldwide. Mike? And I know Mike will be with us in just a moment.
Here I am. Sorry.
That's okay, Mike. No. You're muting your phone. You are handling technical social separation, and I appreciate it. We'll try that again.
That's right.
Mike?
That's right. Well, I mean, keep in mind that viruses have genetic material, so they are subject to mutation. Health officials and scientists believe genome sequencing of the coronavirus could hold great promise. The technique today helps trace where infections began, and perhaps one day it could help shape the way doctors treat COVID-19 patients. A new initiative between California and the San Francisco Research Institution, funded by Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg's philanthropic organization, could bring them one step closer.
As the United States experiences increases in cases of COVID-19 and deaths, Latinos continue to contract the virus at disproportionate rates, leading some experts to suspect systematic biases across housing, healthcare, and education are to blame. Public health experts worry racial inequities are making the Latino community more susceptible to getting sick and dying. Maybe they're just choosing not to practice social distancing and wearing masks. I don't know. John?
Coronavirus deaths among LA County food processing workers bring dire plea from health officials. This is from the LA Times. With coronavirus deaths now surpassing 9,000 across California, health officials in Los Angeles County are investigating a deadly outbreak at a food processing plant in Commerce and issued another urgent plea for businesses and employees to report COVID-19 cases. The county is examining the deaths of 2 employees at Mission Foods Corporation in Commerce. Mission Foods, a leading distributor of tortillas, chips, and salsas sold in grocery stores, was one of 3 food processing businesses that the county shut down Sunday. As of Thursday, 49 employees have tested positive. All 3 businesses have since reopened. LA County Health Officer Dr. Muntu Davis said Thursday that the 2 Mission employees were believed to have had COVID-19 at the time of their deaths.
And John, did you have any closing thoughts, burning desires?
Well, yeah, actually, I don't find it surprising that the food processing plants are having these outbreaks. We had our biggest outbreak in Germany occurred at the largest food processing plant in Germany, Tony's processing, and it was gigantic, and for many of the same reasons, because most of the people in that processing plant were working closely together. It was pretty much impossible to maintain the safety recommendations, and in terms of systemic racism, they all came from Eastern Europe. So it's the same pattern.
Mike, closing thoughts, burning desires.
Everybody hang in there.
And I couldn't agree more. Again, as I said earlier to our guest, I was driving in at like 10:30 in the morning and it was 99 degrees. So at least here in the San Fernando Valley, we are definitely looking at 6 figures. It's probably going to be the hottest time of the year. Wouldn't surprise me here in the Valley if it gets up to 105, maybe even closer to 110. I want to very much thank my guest, Rena Shalhoub, the owner of the Crave Cafe in Studio City, for coming on in and giving us the updated status. As some of you may have heard, a couple of weeks ago, we had her on the show. Her business is down 70%. She's gone from 50 employees down to 8 employees. She went ahead and spent her own money to put up a sign along with the other businesses in the strip mall to say that she's open for business during the coronavirus, totally compliant with social distancing. And then the city came out and fined her. Well, apparently we did it. We, of course, had her on. Lou Shapiro helped out. And then within days, Mayor Garcetti came out and she was notified by the city that at least for now, the fines are suspended. And that's what this show is all about. Work Comp Matters. Identifying problems in the community, seeing what we can do to help you, employers, employees, and of course, we haven't forgotten about you damn independent contractors. I want to thank the madman across the water, John Scalia. I want to thank my chief of staff, Mike Zyma, Scott Walton of Uncle's Studio, the WorkCompcentral, and of course, A1 Law. My name is Steve Appell. We'll see you again Monday at noon for another edition of Work Comp Matters.